Okay, so it's mid-August and we just got over a very long dry spell. Now, even the rain that we had was only small. We just went over a long period of hot weather, and many of us, as well as our plants, were feeling pretty tired and did not necessarily enjoy our gardens as much. Therefore, things started petering out. But the season is far from over. Let's discuss options, because there is so much more enjoyment to come from our gardens. They just need a little TLC. Okay, so for many of us, it's been here in Rhode Island, we've been dry since spring. It is mid-August, and if you weren't supplementing with irrigation, mature shrubs and trees have all been wilting and really stressed out. But our annuals, if you are putting the right ones in, that's one of the reasons, again, why I love Proven Winners so much, is they just seem to be more robust and more drought tolerant, but they're even tired. Some plants thrive just fine and are overcrowded. Other gardens, plants are wilted and just kind of looking weak and not that enjoyable. But let's face it, come summertime, we pay attention to our gardens all spring. We enjoy planting them, we give them compost, we give them fertilizer, and then 4th of July kicks in and we get into summer mode. The heat starts kicking in. Many times the rain is shut off. And that's it. We kind of just tread water. Maybe we're working in the garden a little bit here and there, but nowhere near as much or as intensely as we did in the spring. And then now August comes around, the weather temperature finally breaks, we start getting some rain, and then we really start taking a close look at our garden, and we're like, what happened here? But psychologically, we start thinking fall. And many of us start thinking about fall decor and just kind of like, I'll do nothing and enjoy it. That's not necessarily the case. We'll happily sell you some mums and some new plants, but usually that's not needed just yet. In the gardens, you take some plants that still have some life in them and give them a good shot of fertilizer. For annuals that are going to die in winter anyway, I don't worry about stimulating growth. I want to stimulate growth right now. So therefore, I use the synthetic fertilizer like a Peters or a Miracle Grow, something that's just going to be quick release, a quick shot in the arm for the annuals. Then I supplement with something organic like an Espoma, plant tone or flower tone that's just going to be a much slower release into the fall. You give them some supplemental water now and a good shot of fertilizer, then go through, give the garden a good weeding. Many of the plants that survived and have been thriving all summer, many times even just are too big. They're just petering out because they just put so much energy into all this growth. And now we're fertilizing at the same rate as we did when it was a little baby plant. But the plant's 5 times as large now, so you need to fertilize more in order to keep up with that growth. So it's not necessarily that the plant just junked out because it's summer. It's just we kept treating the plant as if it was a baby. And that's not the case. Give it a good shot in the arm with some fertilizer, prune it back a little bit, shape it so it has its own space. One trick I find with gardens is that when the plants are really growing well, in the spring they're all spaced out. But by now that everything is 2, 3, 4 times as large as it was back then, they stop bleeding into each other. Plants need their boundaries. Prune out around the edge of them just so you can see each individual plant. It makes the garden feel so much more controlled and less wild, if that's your look. You can just let it bleed together, but the plants are going to say thank you to a little pruning back and a little shaping. It stimulates new growth. Prune them back, give them some supplemental water. Don't rely on these thunderstorms just yet. For those of you who got pelted with these storms, they're not a lot of volume. I mean, granted, you might have flooded your backyard, but the ground has been so dry that it really wasn't as good watering as we needed. Today we have another round, but multiple of these downpours back to back, day after day with cooler weather, and you will start noticing plants perking up. But you can speed up the cycle. If you've got a few rounds of rain, then if you go and supplement with some water, the ground will suck up that, and it's just smarter use of irrigation. And so, but that's it. There's still plenty of time to enjoy it. Yes, you need to start thinking fall, maybe fall bulbs, start thinking about dividing your perennials, thinking about next spring, but it doesn't mean that you have to give up at this time of year. For hummingbird lovers, this is the best time of year to be viewing your hummingbirds because they're starting to fatten up for the migration south again. I just took a great video of a hummingbird that just worked my rockin' fuchsia and blue suede shoes for like 5 minutes. And so I got, that's the time of year. Don't give up on the season yet. Still plenty of time to enjoy this season, to enjoy our annuals from this season, but it's also time to start thinking about next year. And we'll talk about that in other videos. Hope that helps. Take care.